Hi. So in this section, I'll take you through the entire journey which has led to what I am today, right? So very transparently, authentically, I'm going to share you my entire journey, all my failures, obstacles, and successes which I had throughout the entire journey, right? And it is not to show you what I have done and what I have achieved in my life. It's more in the perspective of to show you the milestones throughout the journey, and in each milestone what I have come through and what has influenced me, and who are the people who actually mentored me and handholded me and guided me to reach who I am today, right? It's one way a tribute to my mentors for all their contribution, and it's a way of me getting related to you. So throughout my journey, you may get connected to what mistakes or what successes or what actions or decisions which I've taken in my life would be the same thing for you, because we are all from the healthcare domain. We would have gone through the entire structure similarly, but we may think this is very unique for me, right? But no, most of us would have gone through the same journey, but in different varieties and styles of way you are, right? With that, let me request the permission to present this my life milestone to reach to be a digital healthcare consultant. It's on my humble request, and with your permission and request, I'll take the further journey ahead, right, of the presentation. Right, and one more thing is, it's going to be a bit lengthy video. I want you to get connected with my life and how I have gone through and relate to it to your life and what you could be and how would you execute those things. And in the description below, there will be time stamps, right? So each milestone I would have put a time in minutes and seconds, so that you can jump to that timeline if at all, if you don't want to go through the entire video. But please see the milestones, and I hope it will inspire and motivate you to the next level, right? So with that, let me go with the presentation. So the milestones. So I have broken down my entire journey to be a digital healthcare consultant and build this digital healthcare business model into 8 phases of my life. Starting from childhood, then a phase of medical college. In the internship, there was a very specific things what happened. As a graduate, what I struggled and how things worked on. And as a post-graduation, what happened. Marriage is one of the very major milestone which I would discuss with you, and how that would turn things around. And as a professional, what steps I have taken and how things turned out to be. And finally, the 8th was the leap of faith which I took, and that would be the interesting part of the entire journey, right? So with that, let me take you through my journey with the humble request, right? I would like to start with the quote by Dwayne Johnson. He said, "Success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than the day before, and it's all adds up." Right? And when I look back into my journey, I found this quote very impressive and very present to my situation. Right? So with that, let me take you through the journey from my childhood. I think we could start from the age of I was 12 and 13 when I met my first mentor, Miss Shobha. I was going to her for my tuitions. Along with, I used to learn. She was a drawing teacher. She used to teach me drawing, right? And that's where I explored, discovered my skill and interest in art and creativity, right? I was so much filled with a lot of ideas and things. So this gave me a channel to put it across so that I could put my creativities on a canvas. Right, so that was my first discovery. And from there, of course, as a child, most of your parents and people around you tell you need to read more books, right? You need to more books so that you can get more vocabulary and all those things. So I thought, okay, let me pick up one book, right? So this was a book, I think first book which I read completely, okay, and it was a book by Shukera, You Can Win, and the quote which said in this book influenced my life very much from the beginning. That is, winners don't do different things, they do things differently, right? So this was one of the quote which trickled down through my nerves, very deep rooted, which always, whenever I had to do something, I was stimulated to think on how can I do it differently, right? I think that was one of the areas which I think you'll see as we go on. From there, of course, I joined a medical college. And this was my room, and I'm fortunate to take this picture and have it with me. Of course, as you can see, even as a medical student, I was very clear on what life I would like to have and what is my purpose of going forward and how I would take things forward. So I was very oriented towards a future and the life ahead. And I was not clear that I would become digital healthcare, right? But so these are the areas, like, what is my dreams, achievements, what I want to achieve was already depicted in front of my table. So that's what you can see in this entire image, right? And the one very key thing and then turning point, what happened is my parents gave me a laptop. Right, so this was in the first year of MBBS. I got my first laptop in hand, right? So I had a laptop, but I didn't know what to do with the laptop, right? So it was completely something like it was there, and in 2005, this was in 2005. In 2005, there was no much of hype on internet, and we didn't had such a easy internet access things. And in computer, I don't know, didn't learn computer in those days. We had just some games which we played, but again, not on the computers, right? So I wanted to learn it. So that's where I started. I went for evening classes on drawing in digital. So I started digitalizing my skills of drawing and art. And then I came across Andrew Kramer, who is from Video Pilot, and Ryan Colney, who is a part of Film Riot, whose tutorials and videos inspired and gone through, and I learned a lot from them. And from there I started learning a lot of creative softwares, right? I had already creative background. From there I started digitalizing my creative skills. So I started learning Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Animate, Draw, all this After Effects and VFX, and was very much interesting. And from there, as a passion, as a hobby, I started creating a lot of short movies, action movies, right? And then we moved on to create some animation movies, and we started creating healthcare and education based videos to educate people. With all these things, it added a lot of value, and started looking into how this entire videos can be created with a lot of creativity, green screen, studio setup, and short movies. All these are built, and this is what was an movement, I think, which went on more digitalization, right? And then I entered internship. And what happened very importantly in internship is, so what are the digital skills I had developed in the last 4.5 years of my MBBS? I had equipped with my digital knowledge and skills, and my creativity could be inculcated very easily. So in that way, so I met my mentor, Dr. EVS Mabin, who is a professor and HOD of medicine of AG Institute of Medical Sciences, my parent institution. And with that knowledge, I understood, with that creative knowledge, I understood ECG to next level of understanding, and I wrote a book under the guidance and mentorship of Dr. EVS Mabin, right? And we released it during my graduation, and the book later got also translated to Mandarin and Spanish languages. So this was my first class of ECG. I was very also passionate to teach, right, and make things simple, and to pass on the knowledge is what I passionate about. Okay, so this was my first class, and I would like to thank Dr. Mayben for giving me those opportunities, to encouraging me to take these steps, and I think that made a major difference in my life, and was a turning point. From there on, of course, I got graduated. As I graduated, then I started studying for entrance. Meanwhile, I used to also took many classes in different medical colleges for the medical students on learning ECG. Also created my own workshops on ECG for students in different cities, right? And then the next milestone was post graduation. So for post graduation, I had to choose a subject, right? So of course there are many subjects in around, so I felt community was the right thing, because it was a vast subject with wide variety of topics and knowledge which you have to learn and gain, and it gave me a lot of time. And those are the patient education, interaction, and administration and communication. These are the core part of the subject, right? And of course business models is a part of this subject, right? So that's where I thought this would be the right subject to get into, and with interest I moved on to community medicine, and where I under the guidance of Chairman Dr. A.J. Shetty, who very much encouraged and supported different ideas as I went through the entire post-graduation program, and with able leadership of Dr. Colonel Jairam, with his disciplined approach to the subject, and as a common sense approach. He used to always say community medicine is very simple, it's just common sense, right? And that's what I think encouraged me to come up with many new ideas and implement. So during the process, I went through a lot of grind in healthcare, going to the field and talking to people and interacting and seeing the ground level work of healthcare, and also how we can get patients and educate patients and market to patients, if we tell in the business language, is also I did with the street plays and a lot of activities. We did a lot of health camps, education talks, and all these activities, and also was fortunate that my research was also funded by University of Arizona, Tucson, USA, again under the able leadership of Dr. Mark Nichter and Mimi Nichter, who were the principal investigator, and under the mentorship of Dr. Unni Krishnan, who was then the HOD of KMC Computer Medicine Department, Mangalore, right? So I did a wonderful research that it again gave me a huge exposure to a funded research project and international project. And then during my, I think, second year, almost mid-second year, I got married. Okay, and the equation bit changed after that, because a lot of things, the two families get together, and I'm in the post-graduation, I'm getting stipend, which is not even enough to lead an independent, my alone life, but now I have one more person added to my things, right? So I had to look into now how do I earn better income through what I'm doing currently. So I stumbled upon a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and this was actually a second book which I read completely, and wonderfully it inspired me. And the one quote I think I would like to share with you is, change your focus from making money, because I was that time was looking to know how do I make money, to serve more people. Serving more people make the money come in, right? So at this phase I understood what is that you to offer, right? So basically, what is business? Business is ask just in one sentence, how can I serve you? You have something of value which you can give it to people, and that's where you can create a business, right? So now I was thinking, whom do I serve, right? So at this point I was at very much thought process on thinking on how do I, like, whom do I serve? Of course, I'm in healthcare, I can serve all the patients, but that would not work, right? So you need to have a special area, and as a community medicine, your area, your our subject is not popular around public, and there's something specific. So I was thinking which area can I, core area which I can take. So at this point what happened was, I was in a city, and my hometown was around 2 hours. It's a village far from the main city, and I used to get a lot of relatives, and my uncle used to send their friends from the village to my main hospital city where I was studying for the treatment, right? And of course, as they're coming from village and I was studying there, so they wanted my support in understanding and talking to doctor and getting the treatment done, right? So I used to assist people from my village to get treatment in the hospital, right? And surprisingly, this was a lot of things I could see when I was doing that. I got an idea of, if there was a bypass surgery happening, we could execute that bypass surgery with just 25,000 and or even 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs rupees. So there was different packages, different options, different insurances, different cards which could accept, and based on the room they choose, also there was a different packages, right? These were all much not known for the people in the layman sector, and these were completely I think what attracted me to look into the business model of healthcare, right? There was, because with the same type of problems, there was a range of cost which can help the person to be healthy. Okay, so that's what inculcate helped me. And then as a PG, I had to present a seminar, and the topic was medical tourism, and that was a topic which interested me because I could not find huge resources on the internet then when I was doing a presentation, and there was no leader in the market who could do that, right? So what I did is I did a presentation, and then I took that topic as a research topic. Right? I did a field research, went to Chennai, took permission from the department, went to Chennai, went to different hospitals, Apollo, Fortis, Mayot, Sri Ramchandra Hospital, and all these hospitals to see are there patients coming from abroad to India. So what is medical tourism? Medical tourism is travel of patients for treatment. So if they're coming from abroad, it is international medical tourism. If you're moving from one city to other city, it is domestic medical tourism. So I was looking into international medical tourism. So I went to Chennai, looked into all the hospitals. Then I went to Bangalore, met big corporate hospital administrative department or the person responsible, and interviewed them and got information on these areas and how this works. Right? So with that all information, I built a research process, and at this point I got to know that there is something called as American Medical Tourism Association, which is one of the top organization for medical tourism people. And there was a congress happening, World Medical Tourism Congress, which is happening in US, Florida. And at this point, it was, of course, the entry ticket cost was huge. There was a travel included. So all this was happening, and I was just married. Okay, right. So I took that opportunity and had pre-planned a lot of things in this area. And I thought, let me take the honeymoon to US, right? So because however we're gonna spend money somewhere here, and then why not there with attending the conference and being part of the entire process and getting trained too also during the process. Okay, that's where I clubbed my marriage honeymoon trip with work trip. And I also must say at this point, Dr. AJ Shetty also funded the part of the registration process for this, attended the event. So where I also got trained on medical tourism as a trained and certified as a medical tourism professional by American Medical Tourism Association. So I'm I got certified as a medical tourism professional, and then I did huge networking in that domain, meeting a lot of people, around 30 plus countries, from 30 plus countries, people interacted, networked, got their cards. So currently still I have a connection of all these countries, networked, and we have a huge database of professionals from across India who would like to facilitate international patients to India. right? So with that, again from there I also was invited to attend as a speaker at China. I'm still in the PG, and on the wellness tourism and preventive medicine topic. So went there, been there and looked into wellness tourism, right? At this point, of course, all this happened, and then exam completed. I got my MD degree in community medicine. I became a professional, right? So at this point of time, two things normally once you come out as a professional, you do as a professional, right? One, you join a job, right? You get a job done, right? I got a job. And the second thing which now involuntarily do is you set up a clinic, right? I set up my clinic, and also in a small office above that. Down was the clinic, first floor was the office. And it was great, right? It was a great thing. So this was a normal thing what everyone would do, and it was almost at the main part of the city. And this way, as soon as it came out, I hit the market and the reality of the market, right? The business reality and the market reality, which no one taught us in medical or healthcare professional, right? So this was what was completely new. There was a lot of regulations, a lot of taxing, a lot of money involvement, numbers, marketing, getting. So that's where I hit my first failure. What was it? One, I did huge investment. Okay, I invested around 6 to 7 lakhs on the interiors of an other's property, which was not my own property, right? Huge investment I did there. There was no strategy. I didn't have any strategy. I thought having a medical and a doctorate degree and opening a clinic, people will come and see, right? I didn't have a strategy. Of course, no one came down. I was almost out of the city. Again, location was not properly chosen. A lot of things were there, right? So there was no system to follow up with the patients. So patient came, you treated. There's a transactional care. You come, I'll treat. You pay me 100, 200 rupees, and then done. So there was no follow up, and there was no value addition to the people which I was able to give at that point of time, right? So these are the failures which I hit as soon as I entered the market. Right? No business experience, right? And then I also got invited to do as a speaker into many events. Because I had to get some recovery of the event, so I started talking. I did training programs for pediatrician across India on the diarrheal programs and nutrition in the diarrhea, right? In multiple cities. And then also I wrote a book on, because I was traveled internationally, I had seen an opportunity for Indian students, PU students, after the second PU, they can go abroad and do their MBBS, right? So I wrote a book on that, and then we also facilitated many Indian students to go to Philippines, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, and these countries, right? Still, we have students in these countries who are studying their MBBS. And then I got another book, which is called as Cash Flow Quadrant, right? At this point of time, it was a great book. I think I got a lot of financial idea and the business ideas and how we could structure our business with this particular book from Robert Kiyosaki, right? What did it say? The quote says, "My rich dad said it was better to work years at creating an asset rather than to spend your life working hard for money to create someone else's life assets," right? So now at this point of time, I was having a job, I was having clinic, but of course I was not much fruitful in that, but I was having a job. So at this point of time, what he says that you need to create your own asset and not just keep working for someone and start making their assets bigger. So I was thinking, how do I build an asset? So of course I didn't have anything to invest in real estate to get things out. What I thought was digital is which I had strength. So let me strengthen my digital skills is what I thought, and then I started getting influenced and following two people, basically mainly Frederick Corpus Hook, his very difficult name, but yeah, and Adam from WP Crafter are the two people who I thoroughly followed and learned a lot of web development and technical skills in the area of digitalization. Okay, so I was able to build websites, I was able to automate the process, I was able to do a lot of designing work with my creative skills integrated. I was able to get into the web world, right? So this was where I entered the web world, built my own website for medical tourism, then again continued my journey in the phase of medical tourism, right? Now at this point what I thought is, instead of going abroad and getting abroad patients in India, why don't we get patients within India to travel from different city to different city and tell them what is the advantage or facility which is better in other cities to cities, right? So where I met many chairmen and directors of different hospitals and interacted with them, had some interaction on the partnership and see how we can build a business model on domestic medical tourism, right? Getting patients. Also had some interaction with the people in the technology world and how it was growing. I was attending many conferences and events, right? Also met Dr. Narayan Trihan, the chairman of managing director of Medanta Gurgaon, which is one of the core center for medical tourism. There got a huge number of people traveling at that location for from international sector. So that gave a huge idea on that. Then also also met Professor Dr. Ravi Kant, who is the director and CEO of the AIMS Rishikesh, which had a great setup, wonderful infrastructure, which also had a huge potential for wellness and medical tourism sector, right? So yes, did great networking, built entire structure, but we also got patients to the hospitals from international destinations and domestic destinations. We did some revenue, but we hit a failure. Okay, so now tell me what was the failure at this point of time. One, there was a huge expense on traveling. So I did a lot of traveling. As you saw, before marriage, whatever travel to US, everything was part of the package, was paid by the parents, right? But after my profession started, now everything was an expense from my end, right? So till this time, I was reinvesting all the money which I got from salary into the business, right? I didn't do any savings. Completely I reinvested and structured. So there was a lot of huge expense what's happening on traveling and stay. There was no strategy. I didn't have any idea on digital marketing at this point of time. I didn't have any digital system. I had a website, right? I had a website, but there is something called as digital systems. The systems will help you to work better, right? Those were not there. And I didn't have a team. I was a one-man army. I knew everything and I was doing everything. So at this point of time, I felt things are not working. So what was missing is digital system. The technology was missing. We didn't have advanced technology and knowledge on these technologies on how to do it and execute it, right? And I also could not find expertise in area where I was to stay, right? So this was the failure which I had, and I could understand this is what was missing, right? And so if you look into the cash flow quadrants, what Robert Kiyosaki says, the first phase I went through was having a job. Yes, I was employed. I went through the first phase. Second phase is having self-employed. So I had my own job. That's what was happening till now, right? Yes, I had created a business, but at this point of time, I didn't have any system. What is a business? You have your own system that works for you, right? So this was missing in my area. And the third thing, this is the main area where I was now looking into. And of course, the best thing is investor. Of course, once you have money, then you can investigate, make money, right? So that's not phase. But now, and the third phase where I have to create a business where there are systems in place. When you have systems, that is digitalization, that is technology. So when it comes to technology, and what was the reason I failed? Mainly because of digitalization is not there, no digital systems and all those things. So this was where I was lacking, and I could not find expertise in area where I was staying, that was in Mangalore. So the only next decision was to take a leap of faith and leave the city which I lived for more than 10 years and then move to Bangalore, right? A Silicon Valley of India, where all the technology giants stay and work in area, right? So that's where I moved on, and as soon as I moved on, I stumbled upon Digital Deepak's internship program, where I quickly took that, and I went through an 12 weeks of rigorous training program on digital marketing to understand from the basics to the advanced level, where how do you digitalize and how do you create a particular systems and implement to reach the audience, right? I got a great idea and understanding with this, whatever with already existing knowledge which I had, and then with that knowledge I thought, along with my wife, I trained her too, and she was interested to set up things, and Together we built an digital marketing agency. We built an agency so that we can have a hands-on experience on marketing. So we had healthcare firms, we had pharmaceutical companies, we had electric electric two-wheeler firms. We did marketing for all these things, right? We built websites, we created systems, we did digital marketing, we reached out, we spent lakhs of rupees on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram to get audiences for them, and that actually helped us to learn a lot on how digital with hands-on experience. Right from there, I moved on towards the digital healthcare process. So met different professionals in these areas, attended a lot of conferences, meets to understand how the digital healthcare is currently working and what is happening in that area. Right. So at this point, what I thought is, let's build a system for what we already have. So we created a team of people who knew React.js and Node, like the Facebook technology which is built on Facebook and which is built on Uber. These are the core technology with speed which they can build, and we thought we'd build a system. Right, the system was before we build a system, I studied the market in depth of what existing market players in the digital healthcare are, right? How they are building the system, attracting the patients, adding value to people is what I looked into. And then we built our own software, right? We named it as Call My Health. We built a software. This was the backend to build a network in India and abroad on different hospitals, clinics, individual doctors, treatments, lab, home care, everything we included. Build a huge networking process in this entire software. And we also had because we were building a startup here, so we also projected a revenue of year 1. We had 19 crores as a revenue, 117 crores as year 2, and 302 crores as year 3. And this is the entire process. With all this ready to go to market, we were ready at this point, and this point of our phase, we hit a great obstacle, that is COVID, right? At this point of time, whatever we did, of course, we spent a lot of money to build a working model, but we did execute it, and by the time we were able to execute, the entire world was shut down, so no travel, entire economy fell, and now currently with COVID and post effect of COVID, the economy is still falling, right? We are almost in the recession process. So funding was out of option, right? So, but during the COVID, what good thing happened is whatever we created, in a small way, we started executing. We started helping people around with telemedicine. We did online consultation, more of consultation. There was a lot of people request from companies to their employees to educate their employees on not to be afraid and how they can prevent whatever the problems there. Right, and we did a lot of health education training programs in this process. So with those, there was a huge experience in that. And also I got a lot of time to restructure my business. So I thought, let me build an online, because I had already now knowledge of systems and digitalization and marketing. I knew what is it, right? So I thought, let me now build a knowledge business. At this point, everyone was teaching and training online. So I restructured everything, built in our own platform called as drsajjanacademy.com, where I launched. It was a learning management system. I had a system of learning management system, integrated it, built an entire platform by myself from scratch, and we launched my ECG skill training program on those platform. And we also created the basic mastery and advanced mastery of the training program. With only these two, only ECG, very small niche in the entire healthcare, we were able to make 40 lakhs rupees in 18 months, and currently we have more than 50 plus healthcare professionals on our platform, right? So this is the great outcome which we had, and of course we had a lot of struggle to do this, right? So we made a lot of mistakes and learnings, and doing that 40 lakhs and 50 plus professionals. With that learning, and we were moving forward great, in a great way, but we were pushing, we were great, but at this point in time something was missing, right? Something was missing. I felt like I'm at a crossroad. I don't know what is the next move should be, right? We were making good amount of money every month, but it was not able to scale to the next level. right? Because the cost of the program was around 1000 to 3000 rupees, which was very small to scale to the next level, and I was not able to get more program. So many roadblocks was there in the thought process and also implementation. At that point of time, I met Siddharth Rajshekhar, who is the founder of Internet Lifestyle Hub, who corely what added value for my business model was I could understand and better implementation through strategy. He gave strategy of implementation and the clarity on the way forward, right? With that, I restructured the entire business model. I sat down and looked back into whatever I have done in the entire my journey, and with that knowledge, experience, failures, successes, I rebuilt the entire digital healthcare business model, and that was the model which I built, and I positioned myself in the market as digital healthcare consultant. Right, with my expertise and failures and learnings and execution, what I could have done, which I have done, I could now add value to the market to build a digital healthcare business model, right? And that's where this model was built, and we founded Digital Healthcare Hub to build a community of healthcare professionals who are now, because the digitalization is what is going to be the next thing, right? Yeah, even the government, the National Medical Council, everyone is looking into digitalization of health records and health services and having digital healthcare numbers, right? So with that, this is going to be the next revolution happening, and we thought this is the right time to enter the market. And being a doctor, healthcare professional, understanding this, having trained in digital domain, implemented it, worked on it, and then now I'm able to, because my area of expertise is simplifying it and then taking it to the market, right? So that's where I thought this is the best thing, and whatever I have learned and planned, and now I could help professionals, individuals to execute it by themselves with a simple mechanism and systems in place. So at this point, I could see and feel that the passion of what I had of creative works and making things simple and teaching met my profession, where I am now putting my all the content creation and creator skills and teaching and impacting people into the process, right? So there's one of the famous quote: allow your passion to become your purpose and it will one day become your profession, right? And I'm very happy today I'm in that position here where my passion has met my profession, and this is what I love to do on day-to-day basis, right? So I would like to quote Thomas Edison: I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that doesn't work, right, through my entire journey. And if you see this entire wonderful image, in whatever way of journey you are, right, you may have to take the entire process what I have gone through to implement for yourself. What I could do for you is, instead of you having you to dig the entire process and learn which direction to find your goal and diamond, what I could do is simple. I have already gone through the entire process, my learnings and my journey. I'll give you a system in place, right? System, yes, still there is a work, you need to dig the channel, but at this point of time you have a system, the speed, the velocity. Only thing you have to know is how to drive, and I will also show you the direction, which direction to drive to reach your goal. And this is as much as simple we could make with our learning. And the thing is, system work and people fail, right? We have a system in place. If you use the system with just instruction of how to do it, it will succeed, right? With that, whatever it is, you will be able to reach the heights and reach your dreams, what you have planned off. Only thing is, yes, it requires effort to reach the top of the mountain, and we will make that easier with my learning and my experience of the journey which I had through. And I am very humbled that you have seen the entire video, if you're this part of the session, and that thank you so much for taking this video with that learnings of whatever I had through my journey. I hope you could have related to many of the phases of the life which maybe you would have gone through. So please comment below, what was your great takeaway from whatever I shared, right? What inspired you the most, or what motivated you the most, or what was the learning from this interaction? So distill the whatever the information it is and write a paragraph and not just one line. I want you to read all your comments and understand what you got out of it, so that it inspires me to inspire you back, right? So with that, thank you. Please go ahead with the further discussion. This was, I know it's a pretty big video, and thank you so much for your patience, and I'm humbled by your listening. Thank you.